Good morning. This is Samuel Jacob Kirchner, voice of the breeze, welcoming you to our Friday morning community meditation hangout. Beautiful, crisp fall morning in New York. I have a lot going on Monday, 3 days from now. I am going to go to Berlin with a team of 7 people, and we are going to be working with Middle Eastern refugees. This is a very significant trip for me, both because I feel so much for refugees and have had some amazing experience working with them, and also because I'm going to visit the place of my birth, which is a DP camp, displaced people's camp, near Kassel, about 2 hours by train from Berlin. And I'm going to hopefully go on next Sunday or Saturday. I will go visit in the place where I was born and which I've never been back to before. So it's almost feeling like a rite of passage for me that I'm working both with refugees and I'm celebrating something about my own refugeedom because it so has colored my life. I think that in some ways I always am displacement waiting to happen. It's so easy for me to get triggered by these feelings of getting displaced. And it's particularly also special because of the times in which we live now, in which the whole issue, I hate to call it issue, but it is an issue. The issue of refugees is so relevant right now. Some people are in denial that we are all refugees. If we're not refugees of stress, which we are, who isn't a refugee of stress nowadays? We are also refugees of displacement, whose family has been there for 3,000 years, wherever you are. And the way it's affected us personally and collectively is undeniable. And yet many people are right now not particularly willing to own up to that. And it can be ugly at times, that any times we have denial of self, denial of others, it can get ugly. So yeah, it is particularly a special moment in my life to continue to practice what I speak and to breathe love into the issues, because the issues are in the head. Then there is a feeling, there is an experience, a visceral experience we're having, and I am into facing and embracing rather than denying and building more walls until it looks like all these walls around the world which eventually come down. So, what can I say? The human condition continues to do its thing, and then we have our choices to make. And when I think about choice, I think, yes, theoretically we all have choice. Um, at least 20,000 choices a day. With every breath we take, we can choose to be awake or to continue to be in la la land and to be asleep. But now to exercise these choices, it's another thing. We need tools for that. We need techniques and learned ways, because we were born with the joy of being alive, but I don't think we were born with these skills. So it's a very interesting time right now while all this ugliness is going on. There's also tremendous points of light. And I think blessed are those who can align themselves with the light and the darkness. So I recorded a track this week, and the track is called audio track, and it's called Finding Refuge in Your Breath. 5 steps, the 5 steps of the breathe, but particularly with the intention of sharing that with the refugees I'm going to be working with, and the refugees of stress who are aware that they are refugees of stress and that can find refuge in the breath. It's a 12-minute track, and I want to play it also because I love practicing it myself. So I'm just going to play it on audio here, and you can either move, because the 5 steps are moving steps. There's some movement involved. You can also visualize it. It works either way. When you actually move, it has more of a resonance because you involve your body, and it's more physical. So it physicalizes your spiritual experience. But if for some reason you can't move, just visualize the movement when you're being instructed to move. So I'm going to play it now. And make sure that the volume is good. Take care of yourself. Make sure that you won't be interrupted for the next 12 minutes. Feel the air brushing your nose as you breathe in and breathe out. Breathing in on the higher chine, breathing out on the lower chine. Notice tightness or struggle in your breathing. Breathe love. Find refuge in your breath. Where do you feel the tight places in your body? Connect the breath to the tight places in your body and let it relax you. Shake like a hummingbird and awake. Breathe with ease. Let the pulsation of your breath turn into a micro movement, shaking from the inside out. Connect your breathing and shaking to the music. Shake out your stress, anxiety, and negative feelings through your fingers, toes, ankles, and wrists. Shake from the core. Breathe, love, find refuge in the breath. Flow like a river and let go. Let your body spontaneously move and flow from the ease of your breath and the music. Try not to control it. Just let your body move as it wishes, stretching and enjoying the freedom of moving and breathing from the core. Breathe, love, find refuge in the breath. Stand like a tree and make space with your knees bent and your feet planted firmly in the floor, shoulder width apart. Hold your arms in a circle in front of you, like branches being held by the trunk of a tree. To endure any challenges that come up, breathe into and soften your grip in tight areas and make space.
Open your heart to your challenges and empower yourself by returning to the breath in the moment, standing in your core. Breathe love. Find refuge in your breath. Walk like an elephant with grace, with your right hand resting on your heart and your left hand resting on your belly. Take each step and connect it to the music and to the breath in the earth. Find your authentic pace and walk peacefully and with grace, following the pulsation of your heart. Walk from your core. Breathe love. Find refuge in the breath. Dance like a breeze. Celebrate with confidence and ease. Trust and become the breath. Lighten up. Celebrate your life now. Dance from the core. Breathe love. Find refuge in the breath.
Notice how you're feeling, how you feel right now. Um, I have been dancing since I was a child. And I remember that when sometimes I would just burst into this spontaneous dance, which was really from the joy I was born with. My parents, particularly my mother, used to get a little taken aback and a little disturbed by the audacity of dancing when things were not always perfect, to say the least. And in a sense, my biggest message, which I practice and I teach, is no matter what your circumstances are, even if they look like they are unbearable, then even when they feel unbearable, but there's certainly no hope, no perspective. You've lost it all. You've lost your home. You've lost your family. You've lost loved ones. You've lost possession, position, which happens in a life of many people. How amazing it is to find that, I call it the safe and sacred place inside. That place that is always calm, joyful, confident, hopeful. That place that I often find when I dance. And particularly when your dance comes from the breath. When your core is the breath. And so this practice that I have been doing for some time now and really continue to develop from my own experience and from the experience I have now teaching others in some very challenging circumstances, is to just keep connecting with that place in us, the original self. And hopefully, in time, we can develop. You know, they say that we use the capacity, 12% of the capacity of our brain. And this whole notion of rewiring our brain is very prevalent, very popular right now, in a sense, also scientifically. It's being proven that we can, particularly with practices such as meditation and self-inquiry and repetition, we can develop the other parts of our brain that are, in a sense, waiting to be developed. And I particularly love the feeling of lightness of being. One that you can also be grounded in your body, and not that it is so high and it is so unfamiliar that somehow we have to lose it by doing something negative to ground us. And with this practice, you learn to become more grounded in yourself. You learn to have yourself. And let me tell you, I mean, from my own experience and from observing a lot of suffering, so much of our suffering has to do with abandoning ourselves, leaving ourselves energetically, psychologically. And so, even as you get older, you keep coming back to the home inside yourself, that which makes you feel at home. And you find out what that is. So that's basically what I wanted to share with you this morning. And it's the first thing that I did for myself. And I know that all the things I need to do, my to-do list, and I have a lot of things to prepare. It feels very different when I am connected to the breath, when I find refuge in my breath, and when I can breathe love to my challenges. Just want to let you know about some of our upcoming activities, which you can all find in the website, which is thebreeze.com, BREAZE. When I come back from the trip to Berlin, a couple of days later, on Thursday evening, the 20th of October, we're going to have our free intro to the webinar, Journey with the Breath, Finding Refuge in Your Breath and Breathing Love into Your Challenges. And also, if you want to continue to practice some, even of what I just shared with you, you can go to the website to where it says Global BREAZE. And there is a section there of practices of the breeze, which through video and audio tracks you can view and you can listen to. We are on Facebook and on Twitter, of course. And what else can I say? Yes, enhance your breath intelligence. These are times in which we really need all the resources we can use other than just thinking, opening the heart, connecting to the breath, connecting to our spirit, being present in the moment, and make our decisions or respond from there rather than from the automatic pilot of misery and oppression. A couple of years ago, I like acronyms, so I came up with MOJO is misery and oppression turned into joy, oxygen, and ease. So I hope that you have a day filled with mojo, with joy, oxygen, and ease. I hope to do this live stream from Berlin next Friday. So in the meanwhile, have a wonderful day. Keep the faith, keep the breath, and your heart open and sweet.